Stage 2 is in full swing and it's time to get ready for Week 2. Battle for number 1. Who will come out on top between the Houston Outlaws and New York Excelsior?
Took down the champs, time to take down second place.
Rivalry renewed. Will the new-look Dallas Fuel take down the rejuvenated Seoul Dynasty?
Seoul Dynasty looking revitalized.
The Philadelphia Fusion kindly opened their doors and walk us through their international house of Overwatch.
So this is the bigger of the 2 PC rooms?
Plus, these pros tell us why they support the Stage 2 patch changes.
I'm able to display my strengths, which is being able to play Lucio.
And we put our drawing skills to the test in What's Your Sign? This is Watchpoint.
What's good, everybody? Welcome to MLG's Watchpoint. Malik here, in for Puckett today, joined by Monty, Doa, and Mr. X. Guys, this band hasn't been together since we were milking cows in Poland.
That's right. You can already read prompters better than Puckett, so it's a huge upgrade.
Whoa!
Hey.
That was incredible.
Fire from
That was incredible.
Man.
And the show, we killed it at the beginning. That's it.
That's right. Puckett needed a break. That's okay. I hope you're resting well.
He needed some R&R. He needed some for sure. Okay, guys, let's get into this week's matchup. And if you are going to circle one as the biggest of Stage 2, Week 2, it's got to be Houston versus NYXL. The Houston Outlaws have lost only one regular season match in their last 10 matches. New York is still on top of the season standings, but Houston could jump them with a win here. So many stars on both teams. Doa, which player is the most important in this matchup?
I mean, for me, honestly, it's Ark. Like, is this guy gonna play again, right? Because we've seen him be so good, right, for New York. He's that great Mercy player from stage number 1. We know he can play the Lucio as well. So if Ark is back, he could be crucial in giving New York the edge. If he's not around, I think Houston has a real shot.
Yeah, I agree with Doa. I think they really need Ark to play in this matchup, and I think it also allows them to bring Mono back as that main tank, right? How we saw he was so successful during Stage 1. I think you get Ark back, he can play Mercy, he can play Lucio. I think this team will definitely look that much better.
Right. Ark has definitely been the next factor. All right, so looking at the map pool, these teams will both do battle on Vizcaya first, followed by Lijiang Tower, Kings Row, and Route 66. Monty, who does this map pool favor?
Now, you take a look at this and you say, okay, obviously Ilios, New York has been exceptional on that map, so should it go to a Game 5, you could expect New York to win. But if it doesn't, I think it does favor the Houston Outlaws. Even though we're looking at losses from the Outlaws on Volskaya and on Route 66, these are still Sombra-focused maps. And the Houston has now shown us they can we've seen Raucus and Banny on Sombra in the past. They've been very strong. I don't know for New York who plays Sombra on this roster, honestly. Yeah. Are they going to move it over to a DPS? Right? Could be Libero for sure. Yeah. But we don't know, and they haven't historically shown strong Sombra play. So the Sombra maps, I think, are going to give Houston a pretty big advantage.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think just based on the past, we've seen Libero play a little bit of that Sombra. Is he the person, like you said, that we want to see on that role now? Maybe not so much. Would we rather see one of the supports do it?
I mean, is Jonak going to play?
That's the thing. Jonak can play Ana, can play Zenyatta. We know he's going to be aggressive. I want to see him on the Sombra.
You also have 2 decent Junkrat maps for the Houston Outlaws there. You have Kings Row, right? And you have Lijiang Tower, so maybe we see some Junkrat there from Jake.
Yeah, we know Jake is crazy on that Junkrat for sure. All right, moving on to a rematch from one of Stage 1's most anticipated matchups, the Seoul Dynasty versus the Dallas Fuel. Doa, give us some perspective on this one.
Well, the thing is, there's a lot of history when you look at these teams that make up Dallas and Seoul. It was a great match in stage number 1, and now this matchup may even have a bit more intrigue.
This is going to be one of the most hype matches you're going to be seeing in Overwatch history, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to be mad.
Coming into the Overwatch League, both the Dallas Fuel and Seoul Dynasty had a lot to prove. Seoul built from the most popular team in Korea, 2-time Apex champions Lunatic High,
Lunatic High will be the champions, finally!
And felt the pressure of an entire nation of esports fans who accept nothing less than perfection from the team that would represent their country. Fuel contained Envious, Apex champions themselves, and the most successful non-Korean team in Overwatch.
That is it. Envious will win Intel Overwatch Apex Season 1.
Dallas bared the weight of expectations that they would be the ones to show that this esport wouldn't be dominated by players from the land of the morning calm.
This is going to be the game of the week. The best of the West, Dallas Fuel, going up against Seoul Dynasty, the greatest team in Overwatch history.
In week 1 of stage 1, the Dynasty and Fuel faced off.
Seoul Dynasty has taken this series. I think we've got a pretty solid rivalry.
It was just the beginning of the roller coaster stage for both squads. While starting strong, Seoul began to show serious weaknesses in the Mercy heavy meta and struggled to find a consistent main tank and a reliable DPS to pair with their star Fleta.
London Spitfire just running over Seoul yet again.
Dynasty would eventually finish 7-3 and barely miss the stage playoffs.
Oh my god.
Dallas fared even worse with a final record of 3-7, plagued by questionable compositional decisions, losing their key main tank to a suspension, and individual performance issues.
Dallas Fuel, one after the other, they're dropping like dominoes.
Though bruised and beaten down in Stage 1, both teams looked resurgent in their first Stage 2 matches, with the Fuel making roster additions that seemed to immediately click.
Goodbye hydration again, AKM taking out everybody.
And Dynasty being freed from their Mercy meta prison to play heroes and compositions they were denied before.
What a monster boot for Toby, and this will be a Seoul Dynasty point.
Both teams went 2-0 in Week 1, and their Week 2 contest could help one of these two dethroned kings take a step closer to reclaiming the crown they held not long ago.
Great stuff there, Doe. That was awesome. Okay, Mr. X, what will be the difference maker this time around in this matchup?
I think Dallas will be able to put a lot of pressure on Fleta this time. I think you come in with an actual dive composition. You can have XQC play the Winston. Rascal can play Genji, and then you can also send effect at him. I think we've seen a lot of teams have success against Seoul in Stage 1, is if your Tracer can kind of play up to the level of the Seoul Tracer, whether it be Bunny or Munchkin, which we know effect can do, and you can put a lot of pressure on the Fleta. And you have now, whether it's AKM at range with the Soldier 76, the Widowmaker, the Pharah, or you have Rascal dive at him with his Genji. I think they can give Fleta a lot of trouble.
I definitely agree with you. At the same time, though, I think now that Toby is back on that Lucio again, mostly, I think Seoul's going to be a lot more comfortable coming into this one, just like they kind of were in their first matches already in Stage 2. I mean, Toby has said himself that on that Lucio, he's able to better track the ultimates that are being used. He's able to better synergize with Jaehong as well. We see that a lot. He can still kind of play the Mercy if they need it, but I think now that Seoul Dynasty is kind of going back to the way they want to play things, I kind of give him the edge there.
I agree with you that we're seeing probably the biggest upgrade with the return of Lucio on the Seoul Dynasty roster, but it also at the same time does help the Dallas Fuel as well. They weren't experiencing strong Mercy play overall. It depends on who's going to be coming back, whether it's Chips High-End this week. Is he going to be on the Ana? Is he going to be up to that same level of performance? But Harry Hook himself is also not going to be as big of a boon. But I think if you combine that Harry Hook will be improved on the Lucio, that we will have Rascal and AKM on this team, that we may have a more reliable tank with XQC coming in. These are the factors that could make this match quite close.
Yeah, and I've always felt like Toby's one of the best Lucio players in the league.
No doubt.
So, I mean, I kind of feel like the Seoul Dynasty are looking pretty good. I know they're enjoying this meta too. So let's take a look at the division standings. If we look at the division standings, you can see that Dallas is only 4 matches behind Seoul. With 28 matches to play, there's more than enough time to make that up. And it could start with a win on Wednesday for the Fuel. Monty, who will Seoul rely on to prevent that from happening?
I think Doa touched on it already, but it is Toby. I think this guy, their shot calling was a little shaky in the first stage. His individual play on the Mercy was not spectacular, but him coming back here, think about how many environmental kills he was picking up in their matches this week. Think about how much healing he was getting done in their Valiant matches, vastly out-healing the enemy Lucio. And then you think about his sound barriers that he was getting on his team time and time again. And this also allows the speed boost, an underappreciated aspect of Lucio, allows his team to move quickly. And the decisiveness of Seoul made sure that they were getting a lot of picks and punishing positional mistakes by all collaborating around the speed boost. So there are a lot of reasons to like Toby being back on Lucio.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, I don't honestly know how much there is more to say about that. I mean, Toby back
He's
on
the best, Lucio.
Everything is right with the world. The planets are aligned. I mean, I may have mentioned it before, but if I haven't, I'm going to do it right now. I think Seoul will win Stage 2.
Ooh. Okay.
Say it. I'm going to take
Both states
We're not even halfway through the first show.
I know, right?
I'm sorry. I will
I'm
make
waiting
that
on
prediction
that
now.
one. I still haven't seen New York with Arc on Lucio.
You know,
I'm
okay,
holding
yeah,
up.
of course
I'm
he's going to be good on Lucio, but I will say I like to make the bold predictions. I know
can
you
tell.
usually like to play it safe. You're usually pretty conservative about what you say on esports shows, but I'm going to be bold.
Somebody
with
clip
this
this for week 5. I know,
Right? You know,
okay, I'll stand by it.
funny thing, I'm a DPS player, and watching Toby has made me completely embrace the support role a lot differently. You know, it inspired me to want to play support a lot more.
Blake, as a DPS player as well, I don't get that feeling watching supports.
Really?
Hey, I love Jonak,
no,
man.
I
but-
just want to play more DPS.
You need to watch more Toby. Get inspired, my guy. Really. All right, let's talk about Philadelphia. Fusion are at the top of stage 2 standings so far, but they may have a tough time staying there in week 2. They face Houston Thursday. Our commissioner, Nate Nazar, called this matchup his matchup of the week. After that, they get the London Spitfire on Saturday. London coming off 2 more map battles in week 1. They'll get a Philly team that went a perfect 8-0 in maps last week. The emergence of EQO for the Fusions has them looking like a new contender. And of course, London was our stage 1 champs. Monty, what are you most interested to see in this matchup?
I never know what to think about the London Spitfire because they win when it mattered, okay? When we got down to the actual stage playoffs, that's when they were putting forward their best performances. Didn't seem to matter that they had to play 14 games in one day to go ahead and close it out on New York XL in the end with 3 best-of-5s. But when nothing's on the line, they have been very hit or miss. Sometimes they lose matchups where they get tunneled in on one composition. Sometimes they win matchups by changing their strategy on a week-by-week basis. So I never know what to expect. And even with their roster, I have questions about playing Hagapun versus Bedoshin. Like, we've seen Hagapun a lot more in stage 2 right now. If we compare the Zenyatta stats, as you can see, Bedoshin ahead in most major categories so far. And I don't really understand the reasoning behind putting Hagapun in when Bedoshin was so dominant in stage 1.
Yeah, I think even just watching Bedoshin play, just watching him play, like, I mean, I think every time, like, Semler and Hex cast the London Spitfires, I hear them, like, screaming about Bedoshin, like, the crazy plays that he's making. It's like he's out there doing a lot for this team on the Zenyatta, and I think, flex support was one of the biggest, it was, like, the biggest factor of winning in stage 1, and Bedoshin was a big reason why.
All right, I'm kind of with you, Monty. I'm wondering what London Spitfire we're going to get. I remember that match that they had against the Uprising, and I was just kind of like, this does not seem like the same team that we've been seeing the entire time. All right, Doa, how can Philly keep their momentum going? Let us know.
Well, the thing with Philly is I think these matches this week is going to be their first real test, right? I mean, they had kind of softer opponents in week number 1. They did really well against them. EQO is looking fantastic, of course, looks very versatile, especially looks incredible on the Genji. Fraggy is playing a lot better himself, too. He's staying more with the team. His dives seem much more coordinated. So I'm really curious about this one. As far as what they need to do, I would say just kind of keep doing what you're doing. Keep keeping it tight. Keep using EQO like you have. Keep not letting Fraggy go too far forward. But I don't know if they're going to be able to do that in these matches. This is like the real test here. So I'm just kind of curious. I don't want to make any predictions. I just want to see what happens.
We're going to learn a lot about EQO in this match.
I think so. I think we're going to learn about Philly in general.
We're going to learn what he can actually do against those top teams. And now, if he brings it like he did in week 1, Philly may find themselves, a victor in this matchup, and they may have found themselves, a guy you can build your whole franchise around.
Right. He's been feeling a lot of pockets that I thought Shadowburn was going to be feeling earlier on. So that's a lot of star power for one team. The Fusion have looked well coordinated so far in stage 2, despite having the league's most international roster with 9 different countries represented. So what's it like living in such a diverse house? They were kind enough to open their doors and show us.
This is Joe Meister from the Philly Fusion. Welcome to the Fusion House. When I first arrived here, I was pretty excited. We're a pretty international team. We have about 10 different nationalities living in the house. It's a lot of different languages, lots of different cultures. So this is the bigger of the 2 PC rooms. Just an average day in the Fusion House. We're just hanging out, playing some games. Here we have the weight room. We've got our famous Philly figures on the wall here. And we have Poco and Fraggy in a pretty intense game of ping pong.
I think we mostly connect to Overwatch. It's like the unified language, I guess. I think living with all teammates, I feel like it's an advantage. You get a lot more synergy faster. And we have our Koreans here. Say hello.
Hello.
Got Dayfly, got Hotpa, Sado. They're eating some noodles. We got special desk here. The desk are electronic, so you can adjust them.
3 weeks ago, I brought up the water slide idea to Tucker, and he seemed on with it.
From Treehouse?
Yeah. Like, have you guys gone up there yet?
Why would we go up there?
Okay, that's my point, though.
I feel the hardest bit of the season's over for us, for start, because we have to build our team synergy and like in-game. So it's a lot of like stress and like extra work. But now we have time to experience something almost surreal. It's pretty nice.
Things seem to be coming together for Philadelphia. As you can see, they jumped out to first place in the Stage 2 standings with an 8+8 map differential. We'll see if they can stay there with those two tough tests this week against Houston and London. For the season standings, the Fusion are in the 6th spot, just behind the Los Angeles Valiant. And LA is where we want to begin today's 6 stack. During the stage break, the Valiant switched head coaches. Cuddles is out, NBC is in. In week 1, they got 4-0'd by Seoul, then rolled past Shanghai. We saw Kareev moving back to DPS, rotating with agilities. And Silk Thread did not play at all in week 1. Mr. X, who should the Valiant use as the second DPS with soon?
It's tough. I think it's going to be map dependent a lot of the times, but I would like to see it be either agilities or Silk Thread. I think on maps that you really want Soldier 76, you want Silk Thread in the game, and I think even when you really kind of think about it, is Silk Thread's Genji that big of a fall-off from agilities? Or maybe you just leave Silk Thread in the game at that point. When you think he can play 76 and Genji, I think he gives you a lot of options for flexibility. I'm surprised we haven't seen him this far in Stage 2.
Yeah. That was actually shocking to me that we didn't see any Silk Thread last week. All right, moving on to the Boston Uprising. They surprised many by bursting into Stage 1 playoff picture, but they begin Stage 2 with 2 losses and a -8 map differential. Doa, why might Boston struggle here in Stage 2, man?
Well, the thing is, I think more than anything, this was kind of just an off week for everybody on Boston. Everyone kind of seemed to be underperforming from what we saw them be able to do in Stage 1. But it is a little bit worrisome, right? This could be a signal that they're having trouble adjusting to the meta. They tried putting Dreamcasper on 76 a lot more. That didn't work out too well, put a lot of extra pressure on Striker. So we'll see kind of how they adjust as things go on. I'm willing to say it was a bad week 1. We'll see what they can do in week 2. I will say, though, I love the Doomfist. I hope we see a bit more of that, though.
Yeah, I'd be down for that for sure. Number 3, between the new patch, the new signings, trades, and a notable suspension ending, we saw a lot of new faces getting playing time in week 1 of Stage 2. Monty, who is the player we didn't see much of in Stage 1 that you're looking forward to seeing more of here in Stage 2?
I think there are 3 good choices here. XQC, obviously, because I think he really does upgrade the tank position in the current meta. For Dallas Fuel, Rascal, because we saw very little of him, and now we're seeing more for the Fuel. But I'm going back. I'm going to beat this dead horse forever. It's going to be Fissure on the Gladiators. Hardly got to see him in Stage 1. I am a huge fan of tank play, and now we're going to probably see him every game throughout Stage 2. So went from very little play to max amount of play. He is going to make a huge difference.
I didn't see it coming. I just didn't see it coming. All right, so we're halfway through the 6th stack. Let's look at the Shanghai Dragons. They are bringing in 4 new signings, 3 from Korea, including Gagari, the league's first female player. They also add Sky, a Chinese player from Miraculous Youngster. Doa, how will these signings improve the Shanghai Dragons?
Hey, I mean, I think this could do a lot for these guys, right? I mean, because they're bringing in a support, a DPS, a main tank, and an off tank. If they can get these people here, then I think they could actually turn things around. I think they could start winning a lot of matches. If we just go kind of down the line here, Sky used to be known as Yufang Jun, really made waves in China and then also at the Overwatch World Cup last year. We know he's a great flex support. Go to Addo, he's a great DPS. We go to Kagari. She's a very good off-tank, especially known for her Zarya play in Korea. And then you've got Fearless, who's a main tank, and with Roshan kind of struggling, I think that's a great addition too. So it's good people in the right spots, but they have to be in the studio to give Shanghai any benefits. So get them here, and I think they can help them out.
Right. You know what? I feel like the Shanghai Dragons have actually been playing better lately, so it'll be interesting to see when they actually get their players here how they do. Next up, the Seoul Dynasty. They signed Gambler, who spent time on LW Blue in Apex. Gambler is a support known for his Mercy play. Seoul adds another great support player and now has a 12-man roster. Monty, how do you see Gambler fitting into the Dynasty lineup?
I'm really excited to see Gambler. He did come from LW Blue. The rest of those players that were on that roster, or many of them, went over to the NYXL, so he gets a little bit of vengeance on some of his old teammates. He was primarily a Lucio player, not really at Toby's caliber, but what he's going to bring is a lot of Mercy play. And this is a buffer, because Seoul suffered greatly when they didn't have a strong Mercy player in the last meta. And if there are maps where they want to use a player to flex between Mercy and Lucio, expect them to put Gambler in. He's not going to hit the same highs as Toby on the Lucio, but he does have a little bit more versatility, and he will be the Mercy specialist that this team needs if we start heading back, drifting back into a Mercy dominant meta.
Oh, don't say that. Come on. Please don't say that.
Maybe they rework Mercy and she becomes really interesting and great
She's
to watch.
still good right now.
She's still good.
She's still good.
She's still good. She's just normal now. She's a normal support, which is good.
Yeah. I think they balanced there pretty fairly. All right, last one in the stack, the Florida Mayhem. In addition to some new dance moves, they're adding 3 new players, Zappis, Saya player, and Awesome Guy. Mr. X, which one of these new signings will have the biggest impact for the Mayhem?
Look, I think all 3 of these players are going to have a huge impact on Florida. I think Zappis may have the biggest, and it may not even be because he's going to be playing all the time. He may kind of come in as a sub role, but I think just the leadership that he can bring to this team, you know, a little bit of an older player, a veteran who can kind of guide a lot of these people in the right direction. I think Florida's just a team that doesn't really have a sense of direction right now. I think Zappis can provide that pretty quickly.
Right, and I enjoy watching Zappis in his NIP days, so it's going to be cool seeing what he does for the Mayhem. Speaking of the Mayhem, their support player, Zebasai, is loving Stage 2 so far. Between the new patch and the new map rotation, support players are welcoming the shift away from Mercy.
Here in Overwatch League Stage 2, I'm so excited, man. New maps, new meta.
I'm excited to see a lot more Lucio back. He does enable with that speed boost, a lot of the deep dives.
This meta going forward, I'm predicting it's going to be very, very fun to watch.
In general, I'd say this patch is very good for our team. Before, you kind of had to play Mercy all the time. She won't get as much playtime because of the Valkyrie. It isn't as strong. You can't double rest in a fight anymore, but you're more flexible now.
That has benefited us tremendously because then we have more players playing their comfort picks.
I'm able to display my strengths, which is being able to play Lucio.
Verbo coming up with a sound barrier. He has the most impactful ability.
제가 제일 잘할 수 있는 영웅을 플레이할 수 있어서 굉장히 좋아요.
Toby, he is the king of the Lucios. He is the best Lucio in the league.
With Lucio, I can just be more aggressive. I can see the action. I can set up plays better.
Zebasai, huge performance out the back.
루시우를 하면은 오더 하기가 좀 더 쉬운 게 제가 전장 상황을 좀 더 보기가 편해서.
Lucio's really good on maps where there's a really big open area where both the offense needs the speed to close the gap and the defense needs the disengage to use the space effectively to disengage.
Oh, let's break it! Damn!
He's always been my favorite hero to play in Overwatch, and I'm glad I'm able to do so in Stage 2.
We're gonna see a lot more Moira this stage in general, just because like tanks are more viable. So on certain maps, you can go to the Moira without losing too much.
아나는 하나무라 같은 이제 좀 긴 맵에서는 수비 때 많이 쓰이거든요.
It's just pumping the heals and non-stop.
She can pretty much line aside and heal all their teammates from a set position.
Any map with like long sight lines where Ana can play safe is pretty viable.
다른 모든 선수들도 이번 패치를 굉장히 반기고 있거든요. 이제 메르시 메타가 끝나서 뭔가 좀 슈퍼 플레이 같은 그런 화려한 플레이도 좀 더 잘 나오게 됐고.
It's time to play What's Your Sign, where our analysts make signs based on certain categories, and I decide which one is best. How do you guys like my fake intro?
I love it. I'm not actually a fan because Doa was an art major, so this is already super unfair.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah?
That doesn't mean I've kept up with it. I kind of have. Yeah, but not. I do it quickly.
He's already cheated.
Well, if Doa wins, we'll put an asterisk by it, okay? We'll just leave it like that.
I agree.
Okay, let's get started. We know fans love to shout out and support their favorite teams with signs in the Blizzard arena. Category 1 is a message for a team or player. Okay, Mr. X, you're first. What's your sign?
I made a sign here for the Boston Uprising. It's Boston, keep your heads up. You see how I put that yellow around the up, right? Playing up there.
Very clever.
0-8 to great. You guys were horrendous in week 1. You go 0-8. You're going to be great, though, coming up for the next few weeks, I believe.
I like that you point out the yellow. It's a nice little touch.
Nice little touch. That's about as artsy as I get, Malik.
Well, I too decided to try to support one of our teams that's struggling a little bit. So I had Ado, Gaggery, Fearless, Sky. Let the dragons fly.
Oh, you didn't draw that.
Okay. It's like a plane with a dragon head and little tickets that say LA, Blizzard Esports Arena, ASAP, because they got to get those guys there, man. I mean, it is scary. Not as scary as a plane with a dragon head, but it's still pretty scary. And there you go. ASAP.
I like the dragon on the end of the plane. I think that's a really nice detail there.
You know, I appreciate how nice these guys are being, but sometimes you have to use your platform to do good, to give a message that actually helps people. So I'm going to increase some medical awareness right now with this sign. So people should know that the universal choking sign has actually changed. So as you can see, it used to be this guy with the LW blue head, because back in Apex, they were often the favorites, but they would often choke in the big matches. But now, after the Stage 1 playoffs, the new favorite, New York Excelsior, getting reverse swept. And these guys are the same guys, core of LW Blues on this New York roster.
Still in first.
They're making the change, so the new choking sign, remember, if you are in danger, just turn your head into the NYXL logo and grab your throat, so everybody knows.
Toxic. Okay? I love it. So toxic. I'm not gonna lie, Monty, though, you guys are making this one difficult because I like both of your signs, but I'm probably gonna go with Monty's for the savagery.
That's right. That's brutal.
Monty gets round one. Okay, next category. We're looking for a hero-related message. Everyone ready?
Yes.
I'm ready. Okay, Mr. X, what's your sign?
I'm ready. So after I started the Let May Primal Rage last week,
I would love to see that still, by the way.
I wanted to see give Reinhardt configuration tank. That is my attempt at drawing Reinhardt. That is my attempt at drawing a tank. You turn Reinhardt into a tank. He shoots missiles out of his hammer, kind of like a transformer. It would be incredible. Jeff, make it happen.
Is that it looks like a shovel, kind of.
No. That's a hammer.
That's the new Reinhardt skin. It's
a hammer.
It's Gravedigger Reinhardt.
That's right.
It's a level 1 hammer from Westfall.
Well, for me, I was thinking, what would I love to have a hero doing? And there's one hero we haven't seen much of yet in the Overwatch League, and that's Symmetra. So my suggestion is for her, I say, let Symmetra self-destruct. There you go. Let it happen.
What would happen when she self-destructed?
She just blows up. Yeah, and then she's got her TP down, so she comes right back again. She's got her TP. She's got her shield. She gets in your back line. She's got that close range attack anyway. Let Symmetra self-destruct.
Get rid of her E ability. Let her.
That's right. Yep. Make it happen, Jeff.
Okay. I have a message to the developers as well. So my message is, devs, just say no to DPS. Do not make DPS heroes anymore. Because what we really need, we have enough DPS, we really need to diversify the meta, supports and tanks. So I have a meme up here too.
All those people who only play DPS?
But I can meme.
Print.
So this is what happens. You're thinking of, this is what happens when you're making a DPS. This is what happens when you make a support. Oh, the big brain making a tank. But the universe mind, the support tank hybrid. So this is what I want to see moving forward.
Why not just put all 3 in one? Why not just put all 3 in one?
That would be awesome. All right, so guys, you guys are making it a little tough. I'm gonna go with Doas on this one, just because of the amount of detail, and I think Symmetra self-destructing would be kind of cool.
It's the most logical choice.
It was a great drawing too.
Yeah, I'm with it. All right, guys, last category. This one is a message for a fellow caster or analyst. Mr. X, what's your sign say?
Malik, this was by far the easiest sign for me to do.
Okay.
I didn't put much into it. It's Bren, you need to be happy. So Bren has been very angry on the desk. See, Bren, you got to be more like the guy up here. You got to be happy. You got to smile a little bit. Don't be angry, Bren, down at the bottom.
Angry Bren is the most entertaining.
Angry Bren.
Well,
Angry Bren's
going
to get himself killed on Twitter. Yeah, Angry Bren. We need Angry Bren on the desk.
Has anyone actually died on Twitter?
No.
I don't think that's happened.
No.
I think Bren's okay.
But it's dangerous.
Yeah. All right. Well, mine. We've got Bren, his sidekick, Sideshow, of course. Well, maybe not sidekick. I'm sorry, Sideshow. But you've got other problems too. So Sideshow, my sign's for you, man. Drink more milk. Drink more milk, dude. Your bones need some strengthening. This, not so good. This, better.
Then he wouldn't be able to be punch kid.
This arm, no. That's drink more milk. See, it comes in the carton. It goes into the glass. I'm not going to do it.
I'm not sure that would help. I think I would make the
calcium, man. Calcium.
The sign Sideshow, do less snowboarding.
Yeah, no, not snowboarding.
No physical activity.
Maybe don't do extreme sports or something like that.
All right. So here's mine. So let reinforce reverse Torbjorn. And I know this sounds like a euphemism where I might walk up to you and I'd be like, hey, Joey, you want to reverse Torbjorn? That's not what it means.
You never want to go reverse Torbjorn.
You never go reverse Torbjorn.
You never go reverse Torbjorn.
So what it means is I want reinforce to cosplay as reverse Torbjorn because because they're both Swedish, but he is tall, very tall. He's like 6'7" and skinny. So him cosplaying Torbjorn would be absolutely amazing.
I dig it.
I'm down.
I dig it. I dig it.
Torbjorn.
We can make that happen.
Torbjorn.
Yeah, that's perfect. Yeah.
You know, I would love to see Bryn happy. But I'm kind of in the same mind state. I like Angry Bryn a lot too. So I'm gonna have to go with Monty on this.
Yes!
One. We need to see that reverse tour for sure for Reinforced. I am with it. Okay. Well, guys, that does it for this edition of What's Your Sign? Thanks for playing, guys. Thank you very much.
NYXL taking on the Houston Outlaws, a pretty epic duel.
We're super stoked to play New York.
우리가 짱일 것 같아요.
They finished the stage 1 with the best regular season results.
우리가 짱입니다. 1등이니까.
And it's also a team that we have a bit of history with. A little bit to prove here, I'd say.
Save will be taking matters into his own hands.
Oh! 그래서 잘하는 선수는 없는데 저보다.
SBB, I'm coming for you in that Tracer duel. I know you're better than me, but I'm not scared.
Let's go, boys!
You know, I got to give it to him. He's one of the only players in the league with Outlaws tier hair. Who's not on the Outlaws. We have a secret weapon in Boink. You know, I think most Tracers in the league are not gonna expect a Lucio to fight back the way Boink will fight back.
Oh, let's break it!
Damn, Boink. Come at me, Boink.
This is just supreme confidence in Jake's ability.
제이크 트레이서 딱히 무섭지 않아서.
정크렛을 제이크가 잘하니까.
Jake! Huge tire from him.
제이크렛이라고 부르죠.
Big Boss Pine!
Just gonna kill everybody.
Oh!
We'll take down the Big Boss Pine. Like that's the only message I have for you. He's over aggressive, and we're getting really good at capitalizing on mistakes like that.
Rockets just got his hair done. It looks amazing.
머리가 굉장히 이뻐요.
Beautiful eyes.
끝이에요.
그러니까. 차량.
Houston Outlaws, they will take down the London Spitfire.
Take down the champs, time to take down second place.
When Zeke comes out,
it's gonna be Ted, Jake, Wu.
I need to up my hair game. I'm slacking on that.
No, nobody can beat Ruckus. No,
it's too good.
It's not actually fair.
It is rather lush. I will concede. I will concede. All right, so let's see who you guys think will win that match, as well as the rest of our matches for Wednesday and Thursday. On Wednesday, it looks like everyone agrees that the Valiant will win against the Shock, and the Gladiators will win over Shanghai. But Mr. X is feeling the Dallas Fuel over Seoul. Mr. X, back up your pick against Monty. 30-second face-off. Go.
Good luck, this match was extremely close in stage 1.
One map was close. It was Temple of Anubis.
I think you get everybody on the Dallas Fuel, the new additions into the lineup. I think they're going to give Seoul a lot of trouble. I think if there was a time to play Seoul, it would be early in the season, not later, when they're all set up, ready to go.
Never gone Envy's way. It's not going to
There'll be a bunch of PogChamps in the chat after they win.
With these teams.
XQC
again,
HP
the
player of the
Lucio
day.
Meta coming back. It's going to power
of course, Doa's going
Dallas
with
Fuel
Seoul.
is going to be booped off the map entirely.
Doa's got 2 predictions right off stage.
Thumbs up. I got a lot more than that. Fine, guys. Come on.
I like how he just starts attacking Doa.
I was like, let me take the easy way out. I'm attacking Doa.
Poor Doa, the collateral damage there. All right, Thursday's picks are all in line. The guys all have London taking out Florida, Houston stopping Philly, and the NYXL over Boston. But before we wrap this up, peeking ahead to Saturday, Mr. X, I'm told that you might be picking the Shanghai Dragons to get their first win against the San Francisco Shock. Are you willing to make that prediction right here on Watchpoint?
I thought about it.
Okay.
Thought about it long and hard. And it was very close.
Okay.
I went with the Shock.
You copped out.
I'm sorry. I know.
I was really looking forward to growing my lead even further on you in prediction.
Well, I figured I went out on a limb with the Fuel. That
I'm already going to catch up with Fuel.
Well, there's going to be one. Oh, yeah, it's true. You're going to catch up too. So I definitely needed to pick the Shock there. I mean, yeah. I thought about it, though. Shanghai's been playing a little bit better. I don't know if it's been that much better, though.
I'm disappointed, Mr. X. You need a flip-flop endorsement.
I'm actually disappointed. I'm disappointed a little bit myself. I won't be once the Shock wins.
All right. Well, guys, that does it for MLG's Watchpoint. Be sure to tune in to week 2 for our second stage of Overwatch League on MLG.com, OverwatchLeague.com, and the Overwatch League app. Thanks for watching.